Should you compete? Uh, it's a question I get a lot, especially since it is mid-December now. We're getting close to my prep for my April shows, and yes, I'm still drinking branched chain aminos because I have some left over my workout. So fuck it. It depends on what your goal is, and how you approach it. I will say, as a competitor, and I'm nothing special, but when someone comes up to me and tells me they're considering competing, uh, and they have no experience in the gym, and they think they're going to get on stage and place and do well, with a like 14-week prep, um, it's pretty insulting. And I try to explain that to them, especially women, because they go, "Oh, I think I've got good genetics for this, and I think I could do a 14-week prep or whatever, and I could do well because I've been to a show." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you might do better than some of the girls in the bottom like 15, but there are a huge majority of women now who train like I do year round, 52 weeks a year. You're out of your fucking mind if you think you're going to compete against those women and win. You may do well with your genetics and your frame and all that, but it's a wrong way to approach it, to just try to bash them from the very beginning. Um, Fitness people generally can be a little cocky and things like that, but we all are brothers and sisters in iron. I mean, I have lots of friends of mine that are power lifters and strongmen and things like that, and we all train for different goals, but we're all in this together. We'll train alongside each other and stuff like that. I have a lot of powerlifting stuff that I've incorporated into my bodybuilding training because it's really helped develop my physique, and the same is true for a lot of my powerlifting friends who's incorporated some of my bodybuilding because the accessory movements I do have helped them increase their weight on their powerlifting. And we train for different goals, but we're all in it together, and there's a mutual respect. I will say, if you're going to compete, and you're trying to place, you should definitely have the mentality train to win. Absolutely, you should train to win. Nobody who does well trains to take second. It does happen, and if it does, and you don't place as high as you'd like, it is important to lose humbly as well. But it's also important to win humbly. There's nothing more annoying than being backstage with some guy who's never done a show while you're listening to music and you're sitting there in your hoodie with your feet up on the wall, and he talks about how he's getting ready to smoke you and hope you enjoy last place and stuff, and it's the reason most people hate fucking fitness people, because most people in the fitness industry are not like that, but they talk so goddamn loud that everybody sees that. Um, we're not like that. Most fit people are very humble. They're proud of their physiques, but they don't think they're above other people. They're just proud of themselves. And then you get a couple of the douche nozzles out there who just fucking ruin it for all of us. Yeah, there's quite a few of them, unfortunately. But the majority, I'd say, are good, honest, amazing people. But if you're going to compete, I'd ask you the same thing that my first coach asked me is, do you want to compete, or do you want to compete to place well, to win? And if you've never lifted before, and you want to get into it, I think that's admirable. I don't have an issue with it. There's a lot of bodybuilders out there who think that if you can't hands down place in the top five, you shouldn't compete, and I don't agree with that. I think, if anything, it just helps the fitness world more if we try to support people who want to do it, even if they may not have the physique we're looking for. It is really kind of fucked up when somebody like openly bashes online somebody who showed up at a show. Oh, they're like, "Oh, look at this picture of her. She's still got cellulite." Well, you don't know her fucking story. Maybe she started out and she was 300 pounds or whatever, and she got herself down to like 125 in a year or whatever, and she felt confident enough to hit the stage. I mean, fucking hats off to her. I do applaud bodybuilding for not really in the scoring, giving a shit about that. I mean, like, you still have to look better than everybody else. Your story is amazing and it helps people, and a lot of times at the shows they put that up there to motivate, but it doesn't give you extra points when you're competing. But it is amazing and motivating. It really helps the fitness industry grow, and it helps promote a healthy lifestyle and things like that. So, bashing people who come into the gym, like, I hate the fact that there are people who videotape other people who lift in the gym and then post it online and and rip on them. So there's a lot of stupid shit you see, but a lot of times it's like they're doing something because they don't know any better, And instead of offering advice or giving them a little criticism or something like that, you don't even talk to them. You're just going to videotape them and blast them online. That's rude as fuck. And a lot of times, those people from one time of that will never come back. They could have changed their life, but because one person tore them down, they quit. I had one time where a guy that I knew, he used to be obese. He came into the gym, and I trained on a different schedule than he did, and I didn't see him for like 6 months. And the next time I saw him, I came in, he was leaving just after doing cardio, and he was probably down 40 pounds. I mean, he looked good. And I told him, I said, hey, man, you look awesome, you know? And he's like, well, I'm not really where I want to be, you know? I was like, you know, yeah, you're making fucking great progress, you know? Like, keep it up, you know? If you need anything, just hit me up. So 2-3 weeks later, I go out and I'm with a friend of mine, a mutual friend with the other guy, and he says, oh, yeah, you know, like, we ran into Kenny, and I said, yeah, I saw him at the gym. He goes, he told me flat out that he was gonna quit the next day, and the reason he's still at it is because you told him that. All he needed was one person, because in 6 months, not one person had told him good job. Everybody was like, oh, look at this fat fucker on the treadmill. I was a fat fucker once. Like, it's cool. Like, get after it, man. If you need help, come get me. If you need a spot, come get me. I've never told anybody no for a spot. Like, that's the rudest shit on earth. I don't care if you're only benching 95 pounds and you're just going for 2 reps and you want it. I may not agree with your training style, but I appreciate the fact that you're in there and you're trying to make a difference. People need to be healthy, and I think that's great, you know, and bashing them isn't going to help. But I will say, for people who are looking into competing, it's not just like working out. I mean, there are a lot of unhealthy aspects to competing. I won't say there aren't. So you have to be prepared for that. I mean, the mental breakdowns alone that a lot of people go through, I would definitely suggest having like a coach or at least a close friend you can talk to, because you pay the coach to deal with that shit. But like, if you have a close friend, I mean, because you're gonna like have moments where you like lose your shit. Your patience goes out the window and stuff like that. The diet's really strenuous and all that stuff. But the main thing is to give 110%, because the last thing you want to do is get on stage and realize you could have given more. Like, I've never seen anybody who gave 110, even if they took last place, who wasn't proud of what they did, because they felt like they brought as best they could. And it's important to have that mentality when you approach it. And not listen to any of the naysayers, because there's a lot of people who will say really fucked up shit, especially to women. Like, men will come up to them and tell them that they don't look feminine, they don't look attractive because they have abs and stuff like that. You have to ignore those people. And if you're dating a guy like who says shit like that, leave him, because he's obviously a douchebag. Because I don't know anyone who says some fucking cruel shit like that who deserves a fucking girlfriend. But I will say, if you're going to break into the contest thing, just understand that there's more to it than just working out and doing a basic diet. I mean, the posing and all that stuff's really hard. It's expensive. I mean, especially for females. I mean, their suits. I mean, most suits run around $300. Your tan is going to cost you a minimum probably $100. You can't do that basic tan you get at a tanning salon. It's not dark enough. I mean, it's pretty expensive to get prepped for a show. I mean, your posing coach, if your trainer doesn't do that, I mean, it's not generally that cheap. I mean, I know some people who do really good, really cheap deals for like $20 an hour and stuff, but that's pretty rare. And you have to work at it and work at it, work at it. But if it's for you, I mean, go for it. I mean, it's awesome, but understand that you are going to give up a lot of your time. You're going to give up a lot of your money, and you're going to give up a lot of your social life for that, just for that period of time. So be willing to make those sacrifices, and then do your best to get someone who can help you from binge eating afterwards and having your body go into complete hormonal fuck up. So getting someone who can be supportive and help you reverse diet and things like that. There's nothing worse than seeing somebody, they do well at a show, and you see them 4 months later and they're like, 50 pounds up, and you're like, what the fuck? That's way more unhealthy than doing the entire cut. So, but I mean, anyone who wants to compete, I think should. I don't think there should be a limitation to how you look and things like that. I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere, and we don't get anything out of bashing people and not being supportive. So, if you guys want advice or anything like that, I'm always free to give some in my free time and all that stuff. So, but if you're gonna do it, take it seriously, and don't listen to too much bullshit from people, and just do it because you want to, not because you feel like you need to. Have a good one, guys.